And we are here with Eric Dill. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
We were having a little joke backstage about, I was telling him, giving him some idea about the questions I was going to ask him, and literally I was saying, well, you know, and then blah, 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 I'm going to say blah, 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 and then you're going to say
blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure everyone out there can totally understand what we're talking about. I hoped everyone watching enjoyed that first performance. Simply amazing.
Thank you. I love the setup.
Oh, thank you.
You guys have a good setup here. It's really nice. It's really
Thank
nice.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Why did you go solo? I'm curious.
Why did I go solo? That's a good question.
Other than sheer desire to be fabulous.
Well, the thing is, the Click 5 experience was something new to me. You know, I've done music since forever. I can remember I've always liked music, and then when I was 12, I jumped into it with a guitar and I started singing, you know, and playing along and doing, you know, Green Day and Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins and stuff. Remember we were talking about hands too. We did a lot of off-camera talking.
Talking off camera.
So here's the hand thing. So anyway, when it got down to it, and I found myself, let's just say, front and center of that experience, I felt like it wasn't really right for me, and there were a lot of reasons for that. Me and the guys were very different, you know. I guess in summation, we were different enough to where we had done what we came to do.
And it happened, I mean, always
it happened fast, but it I can attest, you're right, I can attest.
Like it happened fast.
It did happen fast. We pretty much made a record and went on the Ashley Simpson tour in 2005, her US tour. And she was like really hot at that time, and like the MTV show was just like popping off, and like it was a real big deal. And so we went on tour with her, and it was great because you had her and then you had these, you know, 5 guys in suits who were playing, and it was a very nice balance. So that was a good experience, but the problem...
And the album just
and
went
you know,
up the
and we were
charts.
like the biggest debuting rock band, and we sold, you know, so many units our first week, which was unheard of, you know, and all that. So we were excited, and it was a great ride, and it was a ride. It was fast and all that, and so I'm proud of you guys for that. It was good. We did good work. But then you see, I need to write. I need to express myself. And when it came time for the second record, it wasn't happening. They didn't really, you know, because of differences, whatever. It wasn't really. They didn't want me to write, and I thought, well, this isn't gonna fly. So I left,
writer,
and they.
So that's kind of a
and I mean, I am. I'm. Unfortunately, I'm an artist, and I have to express myself, and so I couldn't do that role anymore. So I left and I started writing music, and it just so happened that a song that I wrote ended up getting used by Chris Daughtry. It was his...
Can I tell you, like, no surprise, that song gives me chills.
Does it?
There's something
Awesome.
about that song that, I mean, it may be, and I personally think that great songs have a very universal appeal to them, and they touch something universal in everybody, but that lyrically and just the music is such a, and it was a huge hit for Daughtry, but that song is just beautiful.
Thank you. That song was a cool experience, the way that came together.
How did it come together? I'm curious.
I was, started like this. It's no surprise I won't be here tomorrow. And it started like that. And then Chad Kroeger from Nickelback heard it and he liked it. So we went up to Vancouver and worked on it for a week. And I was on Atlantic Records at the time, and I was gonna do a record with Chad. And that never happened because Chad was kind of bouncing around trying to figure out who he wanted to work with as far as major labels. And Atlantic didn't end up being it, so I didn't end up working with him. Anyway, Chris Daughtry heard the song.
Because Chad's voice would be...
You know what kills me?
Perfect for that song.
You know what kills me? He showed Chris that song with him singing. Chris didn't even know that I sung the song. And all I want to do is hear Chad's version. I want to hear Chad sing No Surprise.
I do too, right? Like,
so we wrote it, and then Chris, they were like, we like it, we want to change some of the verses. We're like, okay, go for it, go ahead. And then you have the No Surprise iteration that you hear on the record. So, and it was awesome, and Chris did a great job with it. He's a great singer.
Because it needs that, like, and Daughtry and Chad have that same kind of vocal vibe. I don't know how to explain it.
It's like someone's gonna kill me when I say this, but Chad does have a little soulful in his thing, and Chris does as well. And when I wrote the song, I thought to myself, they would be both those
Yeah.
artists would be cool for that. And it just happened so that's what happened with it.
Wow.
So
Huge hit.
yeah, so that was fun. And then I needed, okay, so here I'm living in LA, in Hollywood, and I needed to make a record. That's kind of the point.
Because you're an artist.
Exactly, and it took a long time, but now it's done. It didn't take a long time to do. It took a long time to figure out how I was going to do it and who I was going to work with.
In terms of either going into your label or which musicians or everything.
Well, it became a matter of who can I find that cares about production as much as I care about my songs. And I found
No, not easy.
No, it's not. It's really hard, and I've met a lot of people, and I happened to meet Matt Radosevich, who's a producer who worked on my record, and we worked over at Barefoot Studios.
Great studio.
Yep, on Vine in Santa Monica, and that's Eric Valentine's studio, who actually, Eric mastered the record, which is great. Eric Valentine, gosh, he's done a lot of great stuff.
Wow, yeah.
He did a lot of the big 90s Smash Mouth stuff.
A lot of the rock stuff.
Yeah. Who's the other one? Third Eye Blind. Gosh, that
Wow,
was good. He did
that
the
was-
Semi-Charmed Life record.
Which is a great album.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And so and that's the other thing too. I had to find people that I trusted with it.
With your baby, because
Exactly.
this is really your baby.
Exactly. And I knew whatever I did, I'd have forever. Better do it right.
Right.
So there we go.
So did you choose to do? You released the EP independently.
Yes.
Are you going to stay independent?
That's a good question. This industry it moves in a strange way. It never moves how you think it will. And should somebody want to take my record and put it literally at that next level, and I mean promotion and so on.
It's just promotion marketing.
Because it is.
And
because
I say that
it is.
respectfully.
It is. But they
that's
do a good
basically-
job.
Yeah.
The labels do a good job of that and everything if they're doing it right. And like the Click 5 did it. They did a good. Lava did a good job for the Click 5.
But
It's
Lava
an example.
was in a totally different place then, and the music business was in a totally
It
different
was,
place
and
then.
it brings me to another interesting thing is that I got
Did
in.
Jason Flom sign you?
Jason Flom signed us.
Oh my God.
And
Little universe.
if Jason wants to sign me again, we can talk about that. That would be interesting. I've got a hold of him a couple times,
Yeah,
and Jason hasn't got back to me.
Jason's an old friend. I see you, Jason.
But I like Jason. That was cool, and he did lots of good stuff for us on Lava. And then, like you're saying, the story is that he left Lava, and so we got absorbed into Atlantic. And then when that happened, things were kind of a little different for the Click 5.
When is the full length coming out?
It's going to come out. It's done. It's going to come out this year. Not at the end of the year, but this year.
Okay.
Because I'm just kind of playing it by ear. I have a second video coming up. We're going to take it to radio, most likely college radio first.
Good.
And the song is called War with the Wolves. And we're going to play War with the Wolves.
Yay!
We're going to play War with the Wolves.
Yay.
It's one of my favorites on the record. And we made a video for it. And it's a kind of a different video. The Wherever You Are video is very...
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I want to call it a little safe. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in just a realistic way.
Right.
War with the Wolves is a little more out there. It's wild. It's fun, and it's great. And so I hope it's great. Actually, I haven't seen it. So here I am shooting off what I have been. The filming, what was filmed was cool, But so that'll be out. I'm thinking around like maybe June 15th-ish.
Right.
I'll kind of release War with the Wolves, and then we'll wait a little while and probably just drop the record. Yeah. Not too long after that.
Well, please promise to keep me informed because you are now part of the Weekly Comet family. So we
Awesome.
will let
Thank
everyone
you.
know about the video and the record, and we'd love to have you back on the show. But now, I don't know, man. I think you got a song you got to play for us.
Got to do it. War with the Wolves. Thank you very much.
Yay! Wow, thank you. What a great show. I want to say thank you to Liza and to Eric and to Jason Kramer for being back with us. And of course, next week, everyone tune in for John Anderson, who is the ringmaster extraordinaire. You will laugh your butts off. And of course, Dust Tapes, who are going to put on a pretty badass dance party for us. But now, I think, Eric, are you ready?
Ready.
Excellent. Back over to Eric Dill.
fear, they love the smell. My best advice is when you fight, then fight like hell. And run with the ones that keep you wide open. Stay innocent like a child. And I don't care what you find when you get there. Just roll on with the wolves, with the wolves, with the wolves, yeah. You hear a howl across the wind. Your body's shaking and you think that it's the end. But if you look into my eyes, you will see I'm all too familiar with their kind. So run with the ones that keep you wild. Stay innocent like a child, yeah. And I don't care what you find when you get there. Just war with the wolves, 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 with the wolves. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Eric Dill and his fantastic band. And we will see you next week on the Weekly Comet. Good night.